I got a list of places to go eat food. I was like, I'm in
Okay.
Chicago. That's one of those cities where everyone's got their
It's
thing.
got good food.
It's a thing, right? So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Um, and yeah, like Sheena had a list, and like some other people has recommended me some stuff. So I'm like, all right, let's go check these out, see what's going on, and see if my preconceived notions about certain types of food would be met. So for one, we went to Portillo's, or otherwise spelled or Portillo's, but I think it's probably pronounced
I
Portillo's.
think it's Portillo's.
Okay. Reggie said Portillo's, and I'm like, you speak multiple languages, I trust you. But
That's a terrible line of reasoning to use.
no. He every time we get a thing in a foreign language, he pronounces it amazingly because he used to be a localization tester. And like he actually reads off like
yeah, but you're
German
in America
and
where they pronounce
Spanish
things American
and Portuguese and like he's really good at like language pronunciation. He's like legitimately someone you can trust online.
But America.
Anyways, so their main thing was a hot dog, right? And I got one of the proper Portillo's hot dogs, and I guess in terms of just the sausage itself, it's like if I put my own toppings of preference on that would have been a pretty good dog,
Right.
I think the best dog I've ever had was a Toronto street dog, not gonna lie. Years ago, it was just next level. I was like, why does this taste so good? It was great. But in this case, it was the main thing, and then it was kind of like they took it, and it was a good sausage, and then they kind of it tasted like it was kind of dipped in vinegar, and then there were pickled peppers put on top, and then tomatoes put on top, and then just more, and then pick more vinegar and pickles, and then some kind of coleslaw, and then you get some mustard and and it was the most acidic fucking thing I've put in my body in a very long time. And I'm like, okay, maybe this could be like the guy who founded it just as like, I like the taste of vinegary shit, and I'm making it for me. But as the default dog, I'm like, Reggie was getting heartburn practically. It was a lot. It was just, and I'm like, I don't even hate like spicy. I love spicy actually. That's why I went so hard on the ghost pepper. But like spicy with like a kick and like a good pepper like flavor to it is awesome. Just vinegar is like just acid, and I was like, it's too much.
This sounds like, I'm gonna text her, but this sounds like it's explicitly to my wife's taste
because of the mustardy.
Like
acidic.
Brine vinegar,
Yeah.
mustard, just
Strong.
every acidic, abrasive flavor possible.
It was a lot, and the toppings were just piled on and overwhelming it. And I was like, okay, like I could have been, if I just went with like probably just like a simple chili dog, or throw some cheese and some basic toppings on that bitch, it would have been fine. But the default titular meal at the very least, I was like, this is too much. So, and I think too as well, like, in a lot of places I could go and customize to get like what I would enjoy. But I kind of want to taste like the main attraction.
Yeah, it's like assuming you don't have a hairstyle like yours, Woolie, if you travel abroad and you have to get a haircut, don't tell them what to do. Just ask for the usual.
Yeah.
Wherever the fuck you happen to be.
Yeah, there you go.
And
sure.
see what you get.
Surprise me. So yes, the vinegar glizzy was a bit much. And
did it hurt you?
It hurt
like later?
It hurt Reggie. It didn't hurt me. But his chest was he was feeling it.
Man, when you talk about eating food and you're like, "Oh, I took damage from that food." Like traditionally, it's like your stomach or your asshole. You just said it hurt Reggie in his chest?
It's that because it's that heartburny fucking acid shit, man. Like
that's wrong.
Yeah, like you ever eat something really acidic and then like right to the back of your throat, you can almost feel the bubbling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like kind of like that, man. Got to go get some Tums right after. So, okay. The next place on the list, and I kind of tried to go with, I was like, okay, what's around the venue? But then I'm down to travel a bit further out, depending on how much I want to try the thing. What was also near the venue was Italian beef. I don't know if you know about Italian beef, but that's another Chicago thing, it seems. Yes.
I mean, Italians can make beef anywhere.
But this is a specific kind of Italian beef. Also, from hot dog to Italian beef. So just everything we got on the list here is just giant, huge, sweaty penis joke. Let's go. Italian beef is... It's essentially... Okay, I don't want... okay, let's ruffle some feathers. It's essentially a Philly cheesesteak, but minus the cheese, with a different kind of beef and more spicy. Mm-hmm. Is what it is. You're getting like a like a kind of like a hoagie or a sub type of thing, and you're shoving in a different kind of beef, and you're getting some spice with it. But the deal is, I was told in particular, don't just go get one. We went. It was to get one from. We went to Johnny's Italian Beef and get it, and make sure to ask for half and half pepper, half sweet, and then get it dipped. So you got to dip it and they take the whole sandwich, they make it, and then they just dip that shit in gravy, and you're getting the wettest, soggiest.
I'm out. I am out of this. Fuck that.
Yeah. So here's the thing, it's fucking delicious. It tastes great, and as a fan of spice, it was the good kind of spice, not the heartburn spice. The one where I'm like, oh, that pepper has quality to it. It's adding to the flavor with the meat. And together with the bread, it's doing it. It's great. You sop that shit up. The problem is the structural integrity of the sandwich is dog shit. You can't manipulate it. And I'm trying.
Eventually, you're just fucking grabbing.
I was trying to not get a knife and fork, and I mean, by the end, I did it, and then what was left behind, Reggie just went and grabbed some forks, and I'm like, all right, we're grabbing.
No, this is the solution. I just saw someone in the chat say Pat doesn't like spice. I love spice, but if I grab food with my hands and it's fucking wet, I'm gonna throw up. That is awful.
It's a great sandwich, but the bread is wet. Like, take that for exactly what it sounds like. And it also just happens to be served like insanely piping hot temperature-wise. There is a burn warning to shoving that in your mouth, like I'm gonna give you, because it's kind of like when I had okonomiyaki. Or on takoyaki in Japan, where they just serve it up, and it's like, if you put that in your mouth, you're gonna die. Just so you know. You unwrap it and you put it in your mouth, and then you just die. The top of the skin of your mouth burns off. It gets all white and rigidy and shit, and then for the rest of the day, you can barely fucking enjoy anything. Yeah, you have to open it and let the heat hit the air for a minute, and then pick your bites accordingly. And when you do, each bite you're taking is one of those chew, chew, chew. Like, you're managing the temperature. It's so insanely hot. But yeah, it was good. It was good, you know. The dip cools it down. I didn't get a dip to do it myself. They did the pre-dip. The whole thing was done.
Pre-dipped it?
They pre-dipped the whole sandwich, wrapped it up, dipped, and handed it to me, you know. But yeah, the taste was good. The texture was soggy bread. And the integrity was brutal.
Oh fuck, this sounds awful.
Yeah, so I don't know where you lie on the texture versus taste, like priority.
So I'm gonna say I'm mostly normal, but a bad texture will have me spit something out of my mouth faster than bad taste.
Okay.
Like a couple of textures, I'm just like, it's intolerable. Like, just, I can't.
I have a high tolerance for texture because I'm all about taste. I am 80-20 on taste versus texture. But the slimiest, goopiest taste feel is the worst. That's going to kill me. And anything that like I like crunchy, but when it's crunchy to an inedible degree, I'm out as well on texture. But a very, very few things turn me off. I hate the texture of quinoa. I hate the texture of pomegranate. There's few things out there that like hit me on that level.
I don't care for them, but I'm not like
but in most
like the ones that do me in, I'm just like no. Like certain like squid. Like squid is the one that I go to. I'm not like, I'm not gonna spit it out, but I'm chewing it, and I've chewed it one too many times for me to enjoy it.
No, it is. I mean, calamari, when it's basically an onion ring, is like doable, but it's still really chewy. But yes, the slimy is just not what you want to be in the quality of your thing. And I say this as someone who has swallowed natto. Okay, lest we forget.
Yeah, you should have done that.
Anyway, so that's what's going on. And then so Kuma's Corner is a death metal themed burger place, and it's exactly what it sounds like on the tin. Everyone is dressed like death metal. There's Metalocalypse playing on the TV screen. Every burger is named after that, and
that's great.
Yeah, and it's a burger spot had a burger. It was heavy, but it worked out. It was solid. Nothing much to say about it. And again, I'm like, I've been here before. Maybe I was at a different location when I went to Frosty's, but either way, it's I'm having weird deja vu on it. But I do know that, yes, I know people have their Kuma's beef as well, in terms of not the beef food, but as in like, oh, fuck that place, right? So I'm like, I don't know what the story is, but anyway, went there once. And then lastly, I was willing to go about half an hour out to get into Chicago proper to try out one of their deep dishes.
Oh, you mean the lasagna?
So that's the bit, right? Have you ever had a deep dish pizza?
Nah. Well, back when I was 10 years old, I had what Pizza Hut called a deep dish pizza, but even then I knew that wasn't a deep dish pizza.
Okay. So I had something that called itself a deep dish pizza once, and it was an airport Sbarro's.
Yeah.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, it's just the most nothing Italian fucking baked. It's like Sonic's, the gas station food place, except for like Italian food. And it's just, it's God. Like, you know how like Chef Boyardee has the same sauce and you just cut it into different shapes? That's basically what Sbarro's does with their food, So absolute garbage. Whatever, thick pizza. It was, but either way, looking at it from the outside, and again, Reggie had the similar opinion. It was like, I don't know if I'm down with this, man. Like, just that might be too much. And depending on the thickness of the dough and what we're getting here, I'm not going in with the highest expectations on it. So drove in, went to Pequod's Pizza, and sat there, and basically, dude came up and was like, just so you know, it's going to be about 45 minutes for the pizza, by the way. And I was like just casually, just like, yeah, you're probably going to sit here for a better part of an hour before it comes. And it's like, God damn. Well,
that's crazy.
Well, we already drove here, so it is what it is. And they're like, okay, here's the menu. And you're like, what size do you want? You got your, your sizes. And then like, I'm like, oh, there's no like main, types of pizzas to pick from as like preset categories or whatever. It's like, no, not really. There's just a giant list and of toppings. And I was like, okay, well, obviously when you put too many toppings on a pizza, it becomes a goddamn mess, right?
Right.
If you want to get too much of all flavors, you're kind of going to ruin the thing you do end up getting. So it's like, I was like, yeah, about how many of these can we go with before it starts to be a problem? And the dude's like, he's like, I mean, you can throw them in there, but you probably don't want to go over like 10. I was like, wait, what? Like, yeah, you'll probably be fine with anything. And I'm like, that's insane. That's madness.
That's already too much. That's already way too much.
Batshit. He's like, yeah, probably don't go over 10 toppings.
I wouldn't put more than 3 toppings on any pizza ever.
Is the instinct that you would correctly have. But here, it's like, nah, because it's a fucking bowl, you're going to be fine. So I was like, yeah, okay. So we went with like, I guess like 5 or so. And I mean, yeah, I went with like Italian beef, some pepperoni, some onions, spinach, and I think like maybe like one or two other things, and yes, to my pleasant surprise, it's incredible. They bring it out. It is a cheesecake, except replace the cheese.
It's lasagna.
Yeah,
shaped like a pizza.
it is not a pizza. It is. You cut a slice, you put it on your plate, you eat it with a knife and fork, and you start eating the second slice, and you're like, oh shit, I'm actually kind of good.
So like, ever since we got internet video footage of the Chicago pizza in exhaustive detail and what it's like, and you hear people talk about having it, it just makes everyone in Chicago and everyone in New York City seem completely insane that they're even bothering to argue about them at all.
It is nonsense.
They're completely fucking different. It is like apples and oranges.
Literally, yes. This is not the same meal. You cannot have it under the same circumstances. I would never order a deep dish pizza for a party, for a room, of people watching, the game or whatever. Like, that's insane. You have to sit around with a knife and fork, and it confronts you and demands your full attention. You have to sit down and engage it on its own terms. You can take a slice from a box while walking around, holding a beer in the other hand, and chat and do whatever.
You could ostensibly commit felonies while eating a New York pizza.
A rat can grab a slice of New York pizza and drag it down the staircase.
Maybe even the whole pizza if it really wants it.
If it tried that shit with a deep dish, it would be crushed under the girth. It's wild, dude. It is a pizza flavored like casserole / cheesecake. Now, what I was worried about was, I'm like, now in that big fucking vertical length, how much of that is dough? How much of that is topping and cheese? Fortunately, it's like 75-25, So you're getting a whole lot of cheese and a whole lot of meat and sauce and everything in there. And every piece is like, it looks like one of those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle slices where you get the full drip of cheese on it. You got to wrap.
So I'm looking at pictures of a Pequod's pizza, and I'll tell you what, this does not win points for facing and presentation.
Sure, dude,
this shit looks like a nightmare,
dude. Like, it's like they took a giant pie tin, right, with the pie crust, and then just threw that shit in there, and with the sauce and everything, and just went.
This looks like the inside of a Mortal Kombat character.
It's, what if you took a pizza and you did it au gratin, essentially, which it already fucking is, but yes. But it tastes incredible, right? So this is another case of and you know what? Because a knife and fork are required, structural integrity, not that big of a problem.
Right.
You cut and then you wrap.
No tears.
You're going to be wrapping that cheese around your fork for a while as if it were spaghetti. But when it gets in, it's good. And in particular, getting big crumbles of Italian sausage that are like somewhat crispy because they've been like cooked and grilled individually is like fucking ace choice. So I don't know if that's a specific thing to Pequod's or not, but that was great. So yeah, it actually delivered. And I would say that deep dish I was probably the most hesitant about. Just based on the threatening, menacing energy of looking at photos of it. Yeah,
it's got like, I don't think I ever want to have a Chicago deep dish pizza because if I don't like it, I feel like I'll be killed.
Well, so here's the thing, right? 2 slices and you're done. We tapped and went, took the box with, and the next morning we're making our plans to like, okay, let's go get some breakfast and then head over because early pools. Reggie had a 10 a.m. undernight pool or so, and it was like, oh, God damn it, okay. And waking up, it's just like, oh, yeah, he woke up full. like overnight, it did not digest. It's
Made
just
no movement at all.
it
in
is
his body.
still in there, and your body is like, nah, I'm good on breakfast. Actually, just pour some coffee over the top of me, and we'll get our day started. It was insane, dude. When it sits inside, oh man, yeah. I was able, like, I was okay. I felt like I was able to digest, but woof, it's a commitment. It forces you, like I said, to confront it. But yeah, I give that a thumbs up. I would do it again, but I would do it under the proper circumstances, as long as you know that you have no other plans that night. If you take a date out for deep dish, you're out of your fucking mind. That I'm going to vote and rank that the number one worst date food I can ever imagine. Like worse than taco, worse than Mexican. Like you can't do that to somebody.
Stumbling down the street with your date.
Unless the plan is to like just in the Uber back to like you go your way, I'm going back my way. / I'll be in the bathroom for the next hour. Nah, man, don't do it. Yeah, but that's the Chicago food review.
I have a bit of a food story of my own to cut in. Paige and I were at our local deli having sandwiches, and the baby was being the adorable baby that he always is. And the owner comes over, because we go there somewhat often. He's like, oh, hey, cute little baby. He'd never seen a baby before, right? He's like, oh, you mind if I give him a pickle? And we're like, yeah, fuck it.
Okay.
So he gives him a spear of a pickle. And we're like, well, pickle's like, it's vinegared up. It's weird.
And baby mouth, like, tastes are super different from adults.
They're extreme, right?
Yeah.
So the baby puts the pickle in his mouth and then makes the funniest fucking face I've ever seen on a human being in my life.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah.
Yes, 100. Yeah, correct.
And then puts the pickle back in his mouth and starts to chew on it. And then goes, blah, blah, and then puts the pickle back in his mouth and starts to eat it. Oh, no. And starts breaking off little pieces. And we have to go, oh, shit, no, the pieces are like a weird size. You got to
They're chokeable.
Get it out.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, the baby's got a little pickle spear in his hand. And I'm like, okay, well, time to fight a child in a restaurant. And it's like, this is the strongest grip he's ever had on anything in his life. I'm serious. And I pull it away from him, and he looks at me, and he goes, and he opens his mouth, and he has his first tantrum ever as he loses his fucking mind that I will not give him the pickle back.
Wow. The mustard gene unlocked. Oh, shit.
Just looking at the pickle, looking at me, and just...
Wow. In the DNA. Son of Paige. That is locked. That, like, yeah. Okay. You created a new category in his brain. Damn. Still.
And then once the pickle was away from him for like a minute, he forgot that it existed.
Yeah. And
immediately went back to goo goo gagas and smiling at everybody. But he was like outraged that I would take his pickle away.
Mustard al-Gaib. Yeah.
It's like, great.
It's so that's it. Like the proper reaction is the bitter face of, oh, what the fuck?
Weird.
But then going back in.
Like, this is a 10-month-old. That is an extreme flavor. It's like, because their sense of taste is like, I don't know how much stronger, but it's way stronger.
Oh man. Yo. You got to keep an eye on that woman squirting a little bit of Heinz in the baby sauce and mixing it up. Oh man. Okay. It's baked in. That's powerful.
That was such a weird experience.
There's one other thing that we got to. Reggie got some Italian ice. Do you know what that is?
It's like a shaved ice.
Shaved ice, exactly. Depending on what part of America you in, they might call it a water ice, specifically with that intonation to it. But yeah, it's essentially like like I kind of just looking at, especially with the texture of it and stuff. It's really good. It's the exact kind of, if you ever got the ice, yeah, the little lemon icy things from Disney World has them. They have them everywhere. Like they have the same pizza everywhere, and they have the same little ice treat there. That's the first time I had it. I was like, oh yeah, it's that with the very, very, very smooth texture, smoother than like a sorbet or ice cream, smoother than a gelato, but with chunks of real lemon in it, and to the point where you're even getting like seeds at some point. And yeah, that was, I remember having a very pleasant time with that. But just as he's eating it, gets a few spoons in, brain freeze. I'm like, oh shit,
Bro,
you okay? And it's like,
we're in our 30s.
Yeah.
It's too late for brain freeze.
Right. And like, oh shit, yeah, okay, like slow it down, hold up, like, oh yeah. Keeps it going. Oh, I'm like, dude. And he's like, I'm good. I'm like, okay, just, that's not, stop. You don't.
Just don't have it hit the roof of your mouth.
Keeps it going. I'm like, all right, fuck that. And we
Reggie.
We get up and walk out, and he's like, holding his head, but still eating it. I'm like, bro, I'm not helping you. You're on your fucking own. God damn it.
You know what I did a million years ago? Because I like, whenever I go down to Wendy's, I get a Frosty, and I used to get brain freeze. It's like, if you're eating something that's thick enough and will stay on the spoon, just invert the fucking spoon before putting it in your mouth, so that you're putting all the ice cream on the tongue first. You won't get brain freeze anymore.
So for me, it's just eat it slower. Just slowing it down helps a lot, But fuck, yeah, just it's straight up like Bart with the cupcake energy. Anyway, yeah, there you go. That's that.